I am Hagar, once a handmaid, now a mother of nations. My story? Well, it's not an easy one to tell, but it's one that shaped the course of history.
In this household, Hagar, we serve a greater purpose. Our actions shape the future of nations.
Sarah, Abraham's wife, was a woman of great faith, but faith can be tested. I was Sarah's handmaid, bound to serve, but even then I could feel the weight of destiny upon us all. Abraham was more than just my master. He was a leader, a prophet. People came from far and wide to seek his wisdom. Abraham had been promised countless descendants by God, but Sarah remained childless. I tried to comfort her, to show kindness, but kindness can lead to unexpected paths. I could see the pain in Sarah's eyes, the longing for a child. It stirred something in me, pity, yes, but also fear. And then one fateful day, everything changed.
I have a solution. Hagar shall bear a child for us.
In that moment, my world changed. I was no longer just a handmaid. I was to be the vessel of Abraham's promised lineage. As I felt new life growing within me, I was torn between joy and fear. What would this mean for me? For Sarah? For the promise God had made? I wondered if God had a plan for me too. If this child within me was part of something greater. Little did I know, this was just the beginning of a journey that would take me from servant to exile, from despair to divine purpose. As the months passed, my body changed, and with it, my place in the camp. I was no longer just a servant, but the bearer of Abraham's child. But with this new status came new challenges. The eyes of the camp were upon me, and I could feel the weight of their expectations. In quiet moments, I found myself wondering about the future. What would become of this child? Of me? I longed for guidance, for a sign. And then, in my moment of deepest uncertainty, I received an answer I never expected. The day I fled into the desert, I can still feel the heat of the sand under my feet, the desperation in my heart. Every step took me further from all I had known. But sometimes, it's in our darkest moments that light finds us. I thought I had reached the end, but it was only the beginning. The desert, it's alive, it breathes, it moves, and sometimes it speaks.
Hagar, servant of Sarah, where have you come from and where are you going?
I'm running away from my mistress Sarah.
Return to your mistress and submit to her. I will increase your descendants so much that they will be too numerous to count. You are now pregnant, and you will give birth to a son. You shall name him Ishmael, for the Lord has heard of your misery.
Ishmael. God hears. In naming my son, God had named my pain, my existence. I realized then that my journey wasn't over. It was just beginning. With new strength, I turned back to Abraham's camp, back to Sarah. But I was no longer just a handmaid. I was a woman with a purpose. Each step back was a step into an uncertain future. But now, I carried more than just a child within me. I carried a promise. As I approached the camp, I wondered, how would they see me now? How would I see myself? I was returning, yes, but not as the same woman who had fled. Their eyes were the same, but everything else had changed. Little did I know the greatest challenges and the greatest miracles were yet to come. And so our story continued, Ishmael and I. Each day a new challenge, each night a reminder of the promise. We were not lost in the desert, but found. Found by a God who hears, who sees. Our journey was just beginning. The months that followed my return, they were a strange dance of triumph and tension. I carried Abraham's child, yes, but I also carried the weight of Sarah's resentment. Sarah? She looked at me differently now. In her eyes, I saw fear, anger, and something else. Something that looked almost like regret. And then, in the heat of a summer's day, my son came into the world. The pain, it was like nothing I had ever known. But when I heard his first cry, Ishmael, my son, God had heard me truly.
Blessed be the Lord who has given me a son in my old age.
In that moment, cradling my son, I felt powerful, chosen. But power can be a dangerous thing. With Ishmael in my arms, I felt a new strength growing within me. I was no longer just a servant, I was a mother. The years passed, and Ishmael grew strong and wild. He was his father's joy, the apple of Abraham's eye. But with each passing day, I could feel the weight of our uncertain future growing heavier. But with each passing day, each smile Abraham gave my son, I could feel Sarah's bitterness growing. And then everything changed again. Sarah became with child. The impossible had happened. I remember the day Isaac was born. The camp erupted in celebration. But as I watched the revelry, I felt a chill. I looked at my son, no longer the center of attention, and I knew our time in this household was coming to an end. I watched as Sarah held her miracle child, her face glowing with a joy I had once known, and I saw the future slipping away from us.
Cast out this slave woman with her son. The son of this slave woman shall not inherit along with my son Isaac.
I saw the conflict in Abraham's eyes, but I also saw the decision. Once again, I would be cast out. And so, with heavy hearts and few provisions, we set out into the wilderness. But this time, I was not alone. We faced an uncertain future, but we faced it together. The desert? It's a cruel master. Every step, every breath is a battle for survival. We walked for days. Our water, our hope, both were running out.
Mother, I'm so thirsty.
I tried to be strong for my son, but with each passing hour I could feel my resolve crumbling. The desert seemed to mock us, hiding its secrets beneath the burning sand. We pressed on, each step a battle against the merciless sun and shifting sands. Ishmael's strength was fading, and with it, my hope. We searched and searched, but the desert, it seemed endless, mocking us with its emptiness, its vastness consuming our hope with each passing moment. And then, my worst fear came true. Ishmael, my son, please, you must get up. In that moment, I made a choice no mother should ever have to make. Stay here, my son. I can't watch you die. Each step away from him felt like a knife in my heart. Be strong, my brave boy. I will find help. I promise. God will not abandon us. I walked until I could no longer see him. until the desert swallowed everything but my pain. Each step tore at my soul, but I had to believe, had to hope that somehow this was not the end. Oh God, have you abandoned us? Was I wrong to hope? In that moment, I felt the weight of my entire journey. From handmaid to mother, from favored to outcast. Lord, I beg you, do not forsake us in this wilderness. Show me the way. Give me strength to save my son. Your servant awaits your mercy. And then, just when all seemed lost,
Hagar, what is the matter? Do not be afraid. God has heard the boy crying. Lift the boy up and take him by the hand, for I will make him into a great nation.
and then a miracle. There, where before there had been only sand, was a well. Years passed, like grains of sand through an hourglass, and with each passing year, I watched as God's promise unfolded before my eyes. From that small boy I once sheltered under a bush, Ishmael had grown into a great archer, a wild and free spirit. And from him came a nation, 12 princes, each the father of a tribe. I, who was once a lowly handmaid, had become the mother of a great people. Sometimes, in the quiet of the night, I think back to that young girl I once was, scared, alone, fleeing into the desert. If only I could tell her that her tears were not in vain, that her suffering would give birth to greatness. But perhaps she always knew. Perhaps that's why she never gave up. And now, as I stand here, I feel that same presence, that same voice that has guided me all my life. I see a future stretching out before us, great kingdoms rising from the desert, battles fought, alliances forged and broken. I see joy and sorrow, triumph and tragedy, the ebb and flow of history itself. And through it all, I see the hand of God, the same hand that led a frightened handmaid to a well in the desert. My journey, it was never just about me. It was about all of us, every soul who has ever felt lost, abandoned, without hope. To you I say, you are seen, you are heard, your life has purpose. For I am Hagar, once a handmaid, now a mother of nations, and my story, our story, will echo through the ages. This is not the end, it is only the beginning.